Don't fall on your way to the food bank. We had somebody who had walked to the food bank from their house, and she fell on the way to the food bank because it had rained, and then it got real cold, and it froze over. So once it freezes over here in January, it's slippery out there. It's hard for me to ride my bike out there on that January weather. When the weather get cold, I don't really roll to the food banks that much. I shut it down, like I do around the holidays. So around December, January, pretty much is a low for me with the food banks. So I ain't really throw down that much. We had good weather most of the winter, and we had a good run in the start of January, but by the middle of January, towards the end of January, then finally got that cold weather, and got the big snow and all that stuff. There's one lady that used to work at one of them drugstores in the neighborhood, and one that retired so she can take care of her son. She's she's a heavy-set lady, but she's got to be between 50 and 60. But she flew around there and slipped and fell on her way to the food bank on that ice. So she don't drive, so she walked to the food bank where she lived at. So she don't live that far, but she lived far enough that it's a pretty good walk. And when the sidewalks get messed up, you got to be in the streets towards the curb, and that's where all the ice is at. I don't even try to ride my bike on there over there. I try to stay out there in the streets where they got a lane there for the cars, but I have to get out that lane and get away to the cars when it's really snowy out or icy out. Because it could be dangerous for me to ride my bike, just like it's dangerous for people to walk. So she had a tendency to fall when she was working her job. I remember one time she worked that job, she had fell a couple of times, and then she had a job that she had to do a lot of walking and standing on her feet, being a clerk. And when one time I seen her walking around the store, she was shuffling her feet. She couldn't even pick them up. So she was sliding her feet back and forth. There's a rug on the floor. So she's sliding back and forth. Instead of stepping, she was sliding with a walk. And so I know that she was having some problems with that. And maybe that might have been another reason why she retired early, too. But she did retire early. And now later I've been sitting at the food bank. So when she told me that she had fell, and on the way in, I said, be careful. This stuff ain't worth hurting yourself for. Your free food comes in handy and saves you some money. But if you fall and have to go to the hospital, it will cost you more money than the food is worth, that's for sure. So let's hope that I ain't been going for the last 2 weeks because of the cold weather. It got ice cold. And one thing about that cold weather, when you got a bicycle that has a battery on it, even with a lithium battery versus a lead-acid battery. Lead-acid battery has a very short life. Lithium battery has a little longer life, but it still have a shorter life in the cold than it do with warm weather. The warmer the weather, the longer the run you can have on it, the longer its life from the charging point. Even though you charge it up, you sit there in that cold weather, and it's discharging itself. It's losing that energy. So that's something I noticed about riding a bike. That's why I was trying to hook me up a gasoline bike, or maybe I'm going to get the gasoline bike to switch over to propane. So I have an alternative fuel for the wintertime. The last thing I want to do is drive. I drove to one of the events in the neighborhood one Thursday because I didn't want to miss it. And I drove that day. But I missed it anyway. But this time I got out early enough to recharge the battery and be able to take the trailer and make it for January. I didn't make it in December, even though I drove for it, towards it, or with it. I drove to it, rather. But I was too late because they had their Christmas event and they didn't run at 4 o'clock, they ran at 3. But anyway, I try not to drive, and that's why one of my mottos is not to drive, because that put me in a position where I'm getting it pretty much all for free. I don't have no expenses but to spend my time and some of my energy. I really don't have to use that much energy no more with the electric wheel. The electric bike do all the work. So I try to keep it free as possible. And that's why I try to pride myself on going there and having it everything free as far as transportation. The only thing I have to surrender is my time. There's no money involved in other than paying the electric bill, which is a small price to pay. It don't take that much to charge up the battery as far as energy from the electric bill, electricity. So anyway, that's what happened at the food bank on Thursday. She went to the Thursday food bank. So I helped her to the Monday food bank. That's a nice little walk for her. But she lived right on the same main street that the food bank is on. So I helped her to that one, then I helped her to a Tuesday food bank that's probably close enough for her to go to. And it's late enough in the day for her to go to. Both of them are 1 o'clock events. But one, you got to be there about 12:30 because it's very competitive. With another one I'm going to go to this Tuesday event is something that's brand new to the neighborhood. So I just heard about it last month in January. So this is the first week of February. So I'm going to go this Tuesday and check it out. And it's an indoor event. And we'll see what organization they're doing it. And I'm going to find out whether they're cleaners or they forgotten harvest. I'll know that Tuesday when I go. And what the sign-up procedure is and everything, and find out what it's all about. It's nice to know they got a new food bank in the area. It's real close to my house. So I know I can add that on my run. It makes up for that park side, that event that did shut down in my neighborhood. So this one is at Samaritan Center, which is closer to my house, but pretty much right across the street from Parkside. So anyway, that's what's happening. So I will mention facility by names, but I'm not going to mention churches by name. Church names will be kept private. But if it's a facility, a community facility, then I will mention them by name. So I'm going to change my style up a little bit this year. This is 2019. So we'll see what happens in 2019. We made it through 2018. I think that's when I started telling these stories in 2018. So we transferred up to 2019. And I did pretty good at the start of 2019 as far as hitting the food banks. But now I'm hoping to have a good week this week with a Monday and a Tuesday, maybe even 2 Thursdays. I might hit Thursday food bank 2 times. And that'll give me a good hit. That'll give me 4 food banks in 1 week. And that ain't bad. Could do 5, but I'll be pushing to do 3 Thursdays in a row. Because if I'm planning on just using the bike, so I run out of energy. Try to get a second bike going, I can't do that. But I'm working on getting the second bike going. I got everything on it operational, but the last part that I put on backwards, and when you put it on backwards, you don't have a chance to turn it around because it's threaded on another part. So when you thread this part on this second part, the first part is threaded onto the second part. Once you thread that on there, then you are stuck if you do it backwards because it turns one way. And that's when it locks in one way, and the other way it free spins. So it's part that goes on the chain. The chain goes to, that allows you to pedal backwards and you go forward with the drive. Just like on the right-hand side. It's like having a cassette, but it's just a single sprocket. And it pedals forward, and it free spins backwards. And it's a part that you put in the middle that bolts to the motor part, motor shaft, and I put it on backwards. And that's my trademark. I always go backwards before I go forward when I put something together. Been doing that all my life, so that figures. So I had to buy another part for $17. So by the end of this month, hopefully before my birthday, this is my birthday month, I'll have that part on, and then all I have to do then is shorten the chain and then see how it runs. And it probably won't have that drive like the ones I got built into the hub. Because I don't have to really pedal with it to get it to go. This one I probably have to pedal first, just like the chains do with the gasoline ones. You have to pedal first to get it going, then it picks up with the wheel turning. That's how the gasoline models are. It don't have that instant drive like the battery does because it's in the hub, so it's right there on the axle part. So it can turn that axle and you can turn that wheel just from the throttle. So you really don't have to get going with it until the battery go down. Then you see your advantage to pedal before you engage the motor. But this one, you do have to pedal first before you engage the motor. And it's a throttle, so I'm doing with a throttle on that one. A full hand throttle, not going with no thumb throttle. Going with a hand twist throttle. The hand twist throttle is a hand twist throttle, and then there's a thumb throttle. And you just press down on and hold it in place. That's a little hard on your fingers. You twist that throttle with your hand, it's a little easier. But once you hold it in place, that's why I always run it sometimes full throttle. But you run a half throttle, you just hold it in one place, and you ain't got to keep feeding it. With gasoline, you got to keep feeding it until you hold it in place. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking with gasoline. I haven't tried it yet. But this is the year for the gasoline one too, as well as the experiment with the propane one. So I got a lot of experiment to do this year with it. I had bad luck with the fat bikes. I lost money on that bike, dealing with some shady people online. So I got burnt with some money on that. But this year I'm going to be determined to get a fat bike, but I might just have to buy it from the store and not trust you doing it online. Because I ain't had no good luck with doing it online, so I'm going to leave that alone. And just go to the store and buy it. And then we'll go from there. That's going to be my marquee bike. It's going to be my money bike. To have a fat bike. Meant to have it last year. Did everything right to make the money to do it. But 2 websites I ordered it from, and both of them came up short. So I got to chase after my money now to get it back. And I might have lost some money on another one. Would have been nice if they came through, but it wasn't meant to be. So everything online ain't good for you, that's for sure. So hopefully this week coming up, this is the first full week in February, and I have a good run, and the weather stays halfway present, decent. 30-something degrees ain't too bad. I can run my battery bike. It won't lose that much energy versus it being below zero. Once it's below zero, you got a shorter run, and it will lose a lot more energy because I leave it outside. When I'm in the food bank, and sometimes that one on Thursday, it might take about an hour, sometimes 2 hours for the truck to get there. So we're going to see what happens this Thursday. My goal is to be there, to be warming up to do that this Thursday. So I have to run on it for at least 4 food banks this week. So we will keep you posted how it goes. The next time you hear from me will be Friday. And we'll give you a lowdown on what's happening with 2019. 2019, that's what's happening. So later, Gator, and we'll holler back at you.